Emergency. A quantum detonation has occurred in the Aurora's drive core. The reactor will reach a supercritical state in T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome to SXZBear. I'm SXZBear, he's Phumpy, and thanks for joining us back here in Subnautica. On the last one, we built all of the standard tools, the sea glide, the knife, and all of that, and we're ready to go explore. So come join us on this adventure. So the next big thing that happens for us in the game and starts some of our exploration, gives us some of our blueprints and stuff, are the life pods themselves. And this includes some of the information in the life pods and stuff. So let's talk about the other life pods here. You've come across life pod 3 up to the point of us recording this here in the early game. So life pod 3, it has the damaged sea glide. They are found out in the kelp forest.
This is Life Pod 3, uploading our coordinates. We're plugging some holes in our emergency sea glide, so if we're late for the rendezvous, don't panic. Also, don't go home without us. Seriously. 3 out.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
You found Life Pod 4, which gives you the radiation suit, or where the radiation suit is recommended, because that is the one that is turned upside down near the Aurora. You get the creature decoy there. The dude is attacked by a Reaper Leviathan and is actually the first one to encounter it, giving it its name, designation, Reaper.
To any Altera crew. Landed in area of significant alien activity. Encountered predators in the Leviathan class, highly aggressive. Spectroscope scanner assigned species designator, Reaper. One specimen attempted to swallow the life pod, doing extensive damage in the process. Only viable option is to make for the safety of the Aurora crash site. I have retrieved a data box with the creature decoy and enough resources to fabricate a couple of them. The swim's longer than the decoy lifetime, but it should just be enough to keep them busy. If you don't find me on board the ship, presume I miscalculated.
You also came across Life Pod 6, which requested assistance navigating radiation. This is found out in the grassy plateau.
This is Life Pod 6. I have a passenger on board. Coordinates attached. We've landed a kilometer from the crash site, but there's radiation in between us and the rendezvous. Request immediate assistance. 6 out.
Signal coordinates corrupted. Approximate transmission origin recorded to data bank.
The final life pod you have so far come across is Life Pod 17, which is stranded near a cave system and under attack.
Ozzy's log. It's the day of the crash. I don't know what the heck is happening. I'm scared and I'm not going outside. There are shadows in the water under the hatch, but I can't tell if they're rocks or aliens. And there's weird-looking caves nearby. The Aurora was carrying everything needed to build the phase gate. Mobile vehicle bays, bioreactors, propulsion cannons. It had a cinema. There was a zero-G gym. My cafe. I don't understand how we're here now. I don't know why no one's coming for me.
There's a few life pods that you have not come across yet. But overall, what was your thought on the life pods and the PDAs, and them using the PDAs as how to drive the story and some of what's happened here? Like, what's your overall thought?
Oh, I thought it was incredibly well thought out. One, because how else are you supposed to, continue the story? You're in your own life pod. You have a whole ass crash ship next to you, and you're like, "Am I the only one?" Blah blah blah. It's the whole, thought of the story here. But no, I think the stories that go along with it, and the panic in some of the other crash survivors, I think it's really well done. And then actually going to each life pod, obviously, gives a little story for itself. Also, you get stuff out of it, you know? Like, what was the first one we came across? You said it was the radiation suit?
No, that's for radiation suits recommended for it. No, first one you actually came across was Life Pod 3, and it gave you the compass.
Well, I mean, yeah, regardless. I mean, each one gives you something to advance your story, so... Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's really, really well done how they did it.
For me, at first it was one of those, like, I'm playing a game. Clearly I'm the only one left alive. Am I the only one left alive? Well, I mean, it's a survival game. You know, like, I had that conversation going on with myself for a while. Until probably the second life pod. And it became clear that, like, oh, I'm just going to find out how everybody else died. And then it made me question, well, how long was I knocked out? Like, I mean, there was a fire and stuff, and the alarms were, like...
You think it'll carry 2 of us?
How long were you knocked out? Because I feel like you had to have been out for a good amount of time for everything to have happened the way it did.
Yeah, and there's a lot that happened.
You're calm about this.
I'm seeing the engineering problem. If I stop seeing the maps,
But yeah, I love the life pods. I guess the overarching theme, and there are multiple videos out in YouTube land on why did all of the other life pods fail? Did Altera just have crappy life pods? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, think about it. There's like 9 or 8 of them or whatever that actually made it to the planet of the few hundred they said they were carrying. And only one of you actually lived. Like, most of you died in the life pod or just outside of it. And almost all of them sank. Like, yours and the one that's upside down, life pod 4, are the only ones you find floating anywhere.
What was it? Life Pod 4 is the one that got attacked by the Leviathan, right?
Yeah, he's the guy that got attacked by the Reaper who ripped a hole in it and flipped it upside down. Like, clearly had a fun ride. And then, like you said, the emotion behind it, speaking of Life Pod 4 guy, you know, that final statement of, like, had enough things to make 2 creature decoys. They're not quite, their time's not quite long enough for me to get from point A to point B, but with a little luck, I think I can do it. And then has that, but if I don't make it, assume I miscalculated. And, like, you can hear how much that sentence bothered him. And it's the realization of, like, oh, dude, actually I had to go do some... Oh, he was Reaper food. Like, once you meet a Reaper, you realize why that's a horrible way to have died. Reapers aren't quiet. That thing didn't sneak up on him and ambush him. That thing was screaming at it when it ate him. Last thing he heard was... And that was... He screamed with it. I don't know. So this moves us along to storyline here-wise. The Degassi crew is the next thing for us to talk about. However, we need to talk about finding our first steps of the Degassi. And that is, I had you do something I did. After getting a few hours into the game, I happened to climb on top of my life pod and just looked around at the horizon. And for those of you experienced players, you know what I'm talking about. You see the clouds in the distance. I'm an old school gamer. I started on an NES. That's right, folks. Old school. You know what clouds tell an old school gamer when you see a cloud wall someplace like that? That's someplace I'm either going to unlock or it's hiding something. So that's what I had Phumpy do, was just climb on top of his life pod when he got to the point where he needed he needed diamond and a few other things gold in larger quantities, and like the easiest thing to have you do is actually just go out to the island. And because this is what I actually did in my first playthrough, I was like, do me a favor, just climb up there and see if he sees it. He did. So Fump, talk to me a little bit about heading out to the island, finding the island.
Okay, well, like you said, yeah, no, I instantly saw it, and I was just like, okay. I mean, I didn't really picture an island there, but I knew, I mean, like, told me to look for something, looked for it, saw it, blah, blah, blah. So I said, let's go. So going out there, which I thought it was going to be a more treacherous swim, we get out there, and I was just expecting an island. Boy, was I fucking wrong. I want
Aliens!
Yeah.
Aliens!
I want to keep in mind, too, when we were swimming out there, Swiss is like, keep to the left side of the island. Do not go to the right. He did not explain all that well in the beginning.
Well,
what was on the left or on the right side of the island?
like you said, it wasn't as treacherous as you thought it would be.
Right.
You'd have had that treacherous had you gone to the right side of the island.
But no, actually, swimming out to the island, getting there, you know, on the island, I'm just like, cool, this is a whole nother thing to explore. It's the whole island. I wonder what's on this island. And thinking it's just the island, I was going to get some, you know, coconuts and some cool material and everything like that. And then, you know, turn the corner, boom, big ass tower. Not really sure what to call it, but you
Clearly, Phumpy hasn't seen what it is yet. That'll be coming. We haven't talked about the sunbeam. So,
oh boy.
for those of you who have played the game, you know what's coming. Don't worry. Get subscribe. Stay in touch with us on our journey. But yeah, so I mean, you see the big old honking, clearly non-human structure.
Yes, it reminded me of Ark. There's another survival game, and it's very alien based.
I know. I think you and I both made a joke too that like Halo called they want their building back.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like it looks like something straight out of early Halo games. So you find the purple tablet, and you go inside the alien base. This I thought was cool for me. I wasn't expecting it when it happened either. First time I played. It threw me for a hell of a loop because suddenly it wasn't I'm on a deserted planet with a bunch of creatures. Suddenly this was like, wow, there's a lot going on here.
Oh, 100%.
Just what is happening? It shook the entire gameplay for me and shifted it from just a survival game to I want to know what the hell is happening. I am super confused and really intrigued, but what is going on?
Yeah, no, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth, honestly.
So you find your first ion cubes. You scan a few different things in there. We can't skip the elevator down. I had to give you I had to let you know it was okay.
Yeah.
To go in the giant shaft with the floaty things, because you were like, everything tells me I shouldn't do this. Like, this is how it kills me, right? This is the bait and switch, and I'm like, no, you're fine. Like, so you get there, and the containment system. You get to the top of the building, and you put your hand on the thing. It traps your arm, and it stabs you. And that's when it tells us about the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
How did that sit for you? Aliens and a virus. This planet just got a lot more intense and interesting.
Message. Translation reads, warning, infected individuals may not disable the weapon. This planet is under quarantine. Self-scan complete. Bacterial infection in your system is progressing, detecting skin irritation and immune system response. Further data required to identify bacterial strain. Translating background broadcast. Downloading summary to databank.
Yeah. How did this sit well with me? It didn't. Very unsettling, actually. But goddamn, if I wasn't intrigued and like, if anybody's playing this game and never got to that point, I'm pretty sure they would have like got sick of the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
That was hook, line, and sinker and everything that would make anybody be like, this is the game I will be playing for the next however long. Like, it's that's such a nail-biting experience to be like, wow, this entire game has changed. Oh, also from the beginning, as soon as we stepped in, I was checking corners. I was so goddamn scared. I swear to God, there was somebody, like, things I had to be facing. I think I had knife in hand and everything. I was like, this isn't gonna protect me all that well. But goddamn, if I ain't going down without a fight.
Yeah, you scanned the alien gun, and we're immediately like, I can't wait until I get one of those.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's one of probably the second time during the playthrough where you wanted to be able to attack. Like, your version of being defensive was like, give me a way to attack. Which is interesting because this game really doesn't reward that at all. Which, I think just adds to what the game is. We're like, yeah, you can go and kill it. It's going to be hard, but like... So, once we explore the island, you get the ion cubes. And that's when I tell you that you need to explore the caves on the island as well. So this is going to be a twofold conversation. We're first going to just talk about the visit to the islands and picking up everything here. So you scan the giant gate thing, and you're like, what the hell? I have you come out, and then we are walking. I got you going through the caves. And that's when you're finding the shale for the first time, and you're getting diamond and that type of stuff. Tell me how that was for you going through caves.
Oh, I mean, like, finding all the material, it was, I was excited. Because you're getting you're getting diamonds, you're getting, what is the other materials?
Gold, lithium.
Yeah, gold, lithium, all that. It's just like, I mean, like, you're on a small island, so you know everything that you're collecting is kind of finite. It's like, this is all rare material. What rare things am I building with this? You know what I mean? So, I think that was my thought process through it all. Like, I was just excited to get back and see what I can build with it.
We find the first gate. Portal, we'll say.
Oh, hold on. Before we continue, the cave crawlers, fuck them things. Pain in my ass. I killed one successfully.
I agree. The cave crawlers are the number one pest nuisance thing for me in the entire game.
Yep.
Like, if there was one creature I got tired of super fast, it was those.
They're too fast for you to kick their ass with the knife, and there's so many, and they just come at you. Yeah, it's just a pain. Just a pain.
But so you get through that army of cave crawlers. You got yourself some stuff. And then we get to the first portal. For me, the first time I came across the portal, I couldn't wait to go in. You, to my surprise, were like, oh, that's death.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is where they killed me. And I was so surprised that, like, there was still something, like... There was a part of me that wanted to ask what game hurt you. Like, what game were you thinking this was suddenly going to turn into? Where, like, areas I immediately felt safe in, you stayed on hella high alert.
See,
these incited discovery and wonder in me, and to my surprise, they immediately put you on the defensive.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's my thought. I feel like with you, I get to progress the game a little bit quicker than anybody else has, which I appreciate, which is awesome. It brings a different experience, and I appreciate that experience. I didn't know what was on the other side. I didn't think I was experienced to face what was on the other side. If there was something like a fucking land leviathan, I don't fucking know, and it just came in, bit me in the face, and I died. Like, I just got a bunch of cool resources. I have to go through a portal, which I don't know what's on the other side. It brings a little bit of a hesitation.
And see, I couldn't wait to jump through and see what was on the other side. So, on the other side, the second island, the floating island. I love it. It is a beautiful island. I love the idea that it's floating. Again, this game, this franchise in general, has used a lot of really creative thought for things. I love the look of the second island and the fauna looking slightly different. It's just got an overall prettier look to it. But that's also where you find the Degassi crew. The father, the son, the Torbolts, and then Maida.
Chief's log, 5 weeks since the crash. The only other survivors are my son, Mort, and Maida, the cut-price mercenary I commissioned for the journey. After days drifting in the life pod, rain hammering on the roof, the weather cleared and we washed up here. I had Maida salvage the Degassi wreck, set Bart to finding us a stable source of food. His education is paying off sooner than I'd anticipated. Our only problem is Maida. She says the weather's going to turn. I say she's finding excuses to risk our lives. I imagine she's not gonna weaken her life without a physical altercation, and she's itching for a fight. In every judgment she makes, things go from bad to worse. If she had my experience, she'd have more faith. Humans have spent millennia specializing in how to shackle nature to our will. This planet won't cause us any new problems. My one task now is to keep us alive, as comfortably as possible, until the insurance company arranges rescue. In this part of space, that could be months, or even years.
Integrating new PDA data.
This island is a godsend. Look out of the window. No predators, fresh food.
No building materials, nothing left of the ship. And your kid says we're gonna starve without more grow beds. Speak up, kid.
It's true, Father. The natural growth rates are too slow to keep supporting us.
All I'm saying is ocean's got us surrounded. No use hiding. Sooner or later, we'll get our feet wet.
The rest of your life may have been a fight, Maida, but I've made my decision. You want to forfeit your emergency pay to take a swim? Go ahead.
Believe me, I'm thinking on it.
These guys, for me, finding their first logs out on this island.
Son, I said wait for the storm to pass. Your life's more valuable to me than a plant patch.
You stopped being in charge when the ship you were captaining sunk.
I'll stop being in charge when you take charge of yourself.
Say, Chief. Chief,
What?
you know how to drain those grow beds of 40 tons of stormwater? Or how to conjure food from the air?
I know how to prioritize.
I'm just saying, if that's so, what's your boy's life worth to you today? If tomorrow you're gonna be so hungry you start wondering what he tastes like. Let him go deal with your plans.
Son, go deal with the plants.
Bard, Torgo has disembarked the habitat.
Interfere with my family again, and when rescue arrives, I will need you here. Do you understand me?
No rescue coming. Not in time. No staying here neither. This rain keeps falling, sooner or later this place will be buried. Only choice we got is whether to get buried with it.
It helped me start to understand how much bigger the game was than I thought it would be. Like, I know we've already gotten the radio transmission from the Aurora telling us something about a rocket to get off this thing, off this planet. I know about the containment thing, but I don't understand what it means yet. And that was the moment listening to what they were going through and what happened to them, where it was like, oh, this has happened before. Like, they have the exact same story we do. Passing by some planet, something fucking hit us, big explosion. We're now stuck on this godforsaken planet, and theirs wasn't too far away from ours. Like, this is really strange. But that was the moment I realized, like, oh god, I haven't even scratched the surface yet, and I'm a lot of hours in for having just scratched the surface.
See, Chief, you brought us to this sodden planet. Told us we'd see a lush payday. Now what do we got some 6 weeks later? A dead crew, a habitat that's half buried, food washed away.
I suppose the executive decisions would be better left to someone with your extensive experience of hitting people in the face.
I know enough not to take unscheduled detours to uncharted planets. That's something you don't want to learn the hard way.
Easy to judge a decision in hindsight. Harder to come up with a plan of your own.
Got one already. We take what we can carry and hunker down in a cave somewhere. I scouted a site, a couple 100 meters deep, lots of metal deposits.
How do you imagine we'd live?
With ready access to building materials, like damn queens, a couple of water filters, a bioreactor, fresh fish. But Chief, we'll eat seaweed salad and drink our own urine if that's what it takes. All that matters is, do you got something better?
Send the coordinates to my PDA. I'll review your proposal.
For you, what is the Degassi crew like?
Honestly, I didn't think that deep into it. It was more or less, like you said, there's a lot more to it, and it just, to me, that second island was more resources and just more to progress the story.
Integrating new PDA.
What is that thing?
I don't know. I found it outside in the sand.
Part of another ship?
None I've ever seen.
It's not even scratched.
Don't fool around with it. It might be worth something.
Stand down, Chief. If it were gonna crumble to dust, it would have done so when I picked it up.
It's glowing.
We're not the first people to come to this planet.
People. Maybe. Could be aliens. Could be the damn sea monsters for all we know. One thing for sure, we ain't gonna find out by staying here.
I mean, obviously the second island is more food and shelter habitat items
Right.
for the builder and stuff. Your grow beds, indoor, outdoor, single, multiple, observatory, all that fun stuff. Again, I think one of the lines I keep drawing, or differences I draw between you and I in this, is you are 100% prepared for a fight or the bad thing to happen. I was just enjoying the atmosphere of the moment the whole time I played this game. Like, this game is definitely one of those... my wife said she was going somewhere to do something. I was like, cool, I have some time to play a game. 7 hours later, she gets home, and it's like, are you really still? And I'm like, I didn't even realize that it happened. Like, damn. This game did that for me. So... yeah, I was very in the moment as I went. It's also cool to get to watch that parody, and that's part of why when we get to certain things, it's like I'm just gonna lay back and like, yeah, you need to be collecting this. Mute. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Oh, how's he gonna handle this? Like, you know, I'm having those moments with you, and it's cool to see because again, like we're in such a different place from one another. And I remember my first playthrough very fondly of the game, so as anybody does. If you've ever really enjoyed a game in life enough to give it multiple playthroughs like that, you know what I'm talking about. So here's the second thing that we need to talk about, though, on the islands. And that's, Phump, how many times did you have to go to them before making it back home?
I'll join them. until then,
Yeah, you know,
there's always...
I thought we were going to be discussing this a little bit later in the video, but I think I recall saying third time's a try, and then I died another time, so I'm going to say 4 times.
I don't remember what the actual count was. Trust me, in the post, we'll have one there. Yeah, there'll be a counter. Yeah, like and subscribe for that counter. So your first time, I think you were like, hey, you know, you can head back to home base now. And you took fall damage. Like, you were almost dead thanks to the cave crawlers. You didn't have any more med kits on you. And, like, all you had to do was make it off the island without getting hurt.
It was a small leap down. Like, I want to say not even 5 fucking feet.
It was just enough that it gave him fall damage and killed him. However, if you've played the game, it drops all your stuff where you died, right? Phumpy jumped off a hill onto a steep incline on the floating island that dropped everything to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
So, Phumpy, take 2 on heading out to the island and collecting resources. So, the second time, I had you go original island, and I literally just wanted you to go original island and back. Like, let's get you diamond, let's get you some diamond, gold, and lithium. What happened on the way back, Pump?
Well, so, what were we talking about? We were talking about scanning some fish. Were we not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the way back, not too far from the island, I decided to go scan a fish, not knowing what the fish was. It was a bone shark. The bone shark doesn't like light, and I decided to scan it, and it looked at me, and everything went black.
And if you're going, you guys didn't talk about bone sharks before, that's because this was Phumpy's first encounter with a bone shark.
Yeah.
We'll talk about why he came across a bone shark here in a second, if anybody's questioning. We'll be getting to that. So finally, third time is the charm. Phumpy gets back to the base with some gold, some diamond, and some lithium. But like you have pretty stripped the island at this point of most of its resources. Congrats on making it back. The other thing we have to talk about is he makes another trip out just to the floating island. You almost died out there as well. You make it off the island there, but you almost had to do the floating island a third time too. Cave crawlers. Cave crawlers hard. This is where you realize that just because you ate food, it doesn't mean your health went up.
Yeah.
And drinking water doesn't do the same. And I tried to tell you that, like, hey, man, as long as you have good food and good water meter and you just chill for a bit in a safe spot, you can get some health back there. Play the long game on this. And you got antsy real quick.
Yeah. Health regen is not like Minecraft in this game.
Which I guess surprised me a little bit that you hadn't caught on to that like the reason for the med kit is insta health. But like your health regens slowly over time as long as you have food and water. For me, this seemed like a very straightforward mechanic. The moment I saw the health kits, I assumed that's how that worked. So, I mean, cool though. Again, like you just said, it doesn't work like Minecraft. I would have never thought that because I don't have the type of experience you have in Minecraft. I immediately disassociated the two from one another, that health and food were not going to be the same. So we did the islands. We finally get back, and we probably could have talked about this before the islands, but I feel like this is the time to talk about it. And that is poo. Your almighty home away from home. Phumpy's first base. And Pooh is going to undergo a lot of reconstruction. We are sure of that. This is a starter base of starter bases. He's going to overhaul it at some point. But, so bone sharks. Phumpy has decided. You explain picking where to build a base. I literally just told you it's time to build a base. Kind of go figure out where you want your base to be.
If I do recall, I was given a suggestion to kind of be in a good spot, which would be the blood kelp area. So I kind of went in to the blood kelp area. I went pretty. I would like to say a little deep into it.
To make this more clear for anybody who can't realize where he's at, as you see some footage on the screen here of Pooh. Phumpy's just outside the floating islands area. Like, he's a hop, skip, and a jump away from the floating islands, which are heavily infested with the bone sharks.
Yeah.
And I did take, like, Grassy Plateau would be a good spot for the first base because, I mean, it's a relatively safe area. You can build higher up in the water column to give you space for some of the stuff that may come if this is where you choose to keep your base and elaborate on it or whatever. But yeah, I was quite surprised that you went as far as you did. But yeah, Pooh. Why Pooh? What was the
30 seconds.
Your home base is Pooh.
A small explanation. I don't think well. No, I mean, like, it was, you, like, name it. I said, okay. I knew we were recording this, and I was like, well, I don't want to, like, put 10 minutes on the clock of me looking at some letters of a keyboard and being like, well. So, my small brain instantly went, Pooh.
That's alright. Mine was HB1 because my brain was immediately like home base 1.
Nice.
Like there was going to be a home base 4 or 5. Like, I didn't know. So it was HB1. So, you know, like we said, we've already talked about how the base building goes, and you haven't gotten a chance at the point of recording this to really elaborate on your base too much. That you'll be doing, because before you got a chance to elaborate on it, we needed to get you more things for your base. And seeing as how you already got the radiation suit, it was time to go to the Aurora. We really could have had you do your Seamoth and mobile vehicle bay before this, but you weren't having to carry all that much that wasn't just going to be your regular inventory slots anyway, so we had you go ahead and do the Aurora. You had your pick between a few things. We could have done Sunbeam, because that was coming up on the radio. We could go to the Aurora, or I could have had you scavenge for some of the other blueprints and stuff. You were pretty excited about the base and wanted to be able to do more there, so we go to the Aurora. So let's talk about making the approach to the Aurora in the first place. Now that you had your radiation suit, you actually finally got a chance to get up close to it, and I loved getting a chance to see your reactions the first few times you surfaced as you got closer, because, like, man, it gets big quick.
It gets big.
So you and I had kind of the exact same reaction to that. I was very excited to be there, though. I did not know about Reapers, so my first trip to the Aurora was, let's go explore the ship. I had no idea about the danger noodles that were the mega danger noodles that were out and about. You, on the other hand, were approaching with caution. You didn't care for the rumbling. Like, give me an overview of your feeling and thought as you approached the Aurora the first time.
Well, we came across that life pod right away, so I got to, stand on that life pod that's very close to it and, look around.
Life pod 4 that was attacked by the Reaper Leviathan.
Yep. So looking at the Aurora and just like taking it all in, and especially when you go in the water and the water gets brown and murky and everything like that. That's just another gamer thing, I guess, where it's like when the water changes, it's just like something's happening. So
it's like a fog over a forest or something like that. We're like, oh, there's fuckery to be had.
Yep.
Like,
so I mean, yeah, I'm a very on edge type of guy, anyways, especially when it comes to new things, new games rather, where I need to check every corner and all that stuff. But no, so yeah, no, I was playing it cautious. I was playing very cautiously, and yeah, and we were just scavenging for a little bit around there, and then we decided to go in.
so going into the Aurora, before we get inside it, propulsion cannon.
Oh,
Let's talk about the propulsion cannon.
Oh my god.
We realized that you actually had the blueprint for it and had it for a little bit, and just hadn't made it. We obviously needed to make that and a couple other tools we're going to talk about right now before we go further in the Aurora. So, propulsion cannon. Sing its praises. Kill the cave crawler.
Oh, dude. It was... Okay, I think when we first got it, I was like, I need to pick something up now. Picked up a small fish. Yeeted that thing. Super fun. Finally get to the Aurora, sitting at the little entrance there. And you're just like... And I got bit. I was like, oh, you want to bite me? Okay. I'll play this game. Picked one up, turned around, boom, get eaten by the Leviathan. I'm assuming. And I keep going. There's like I think I did like 4 of them, and then Sleuth is like, all right, save your battery.
Yeah, I had to warn you. Like, you have things to actually do with that. Calm down, because you were ready to see how many of these you could yeet off the ship before there were none left.
So yeah, no, favorite thing, brings me back to, Portal and Gary's mod and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I just love that thing. I think it's great.
Item number 2 here is going to be the laser cutter tool.
Oh, yeah. I think it goes with me saying with the repair tool, where it's very situational.
It does one thing extremely well, but that's all it does.
Yes, but no, you could cut through fucking steel. It's pretty badass.
I dig that, like, it's still just a room or something stuck behind a wall. It's an asset stuck behind a block, basically. I do appreciate, though, that there's like 3 or 4 different ways around that, or different types of them you can come across. It's not just the same one over and over again. There is an array of them, and they do use an array of them. Like, some are the repair tool, where you have to fix the door and do the thing.
Vital signs.
Some are the laser cutter. You're just going to cut through it. Some are the propulsion cannon. You need to clear the debris out of the way. I think it's awesome that it's essentially the exact same obstacle that they were like, here's multiple ways around it. So, yeah, those are the 2 tools that we needed to talk about before getting here. And now we're here on the Aurora. And because of where you actually jumped on the Aurora, I had you go that way first. So you actually entered through the lower door and came out the upper door. For most of us, it was the opposite. My first time playing was the other way around. I went through the top first and came out the bottom. But because you were right there by the door and already using the cannon, it was like, well, just go for it. So you go inside the Aurora, and let's just talk about being inside the Aurora. Not even the different things that you get, just the atmosphere of the Aurora itself. What was that like for you?
Panic. Straight panic. It's a crashed ship. It just exploded and is leaking radiation. No, being in it, it's really cool. And like you said, the different ways to explore it with the different tools that we're given. It's cool to navigate through it all. Yeah, and then going into the finding everything, like especially the stuff that we're about to find, it's insane.
Speaking of the stuff we're about to find, prawn soup. In the prawn soup bay, you naturally found that. You were swimming through an area, and like I said, we came in through the bottom first, so you actually got the black box information and came in through the underwater way there first. And then you found your way into the prawn bay. The hard way through the underwater tubes and pipes and all of that. And like, now that gives me anxiety. That made me feel nervous. I hated swimming through those. However, I will say for me, being on the ship itself felt homey. I've played a lot of games that have you just on a spaceship kicking ass, and the spaceship's like half crash burning or falling into the planet or something. So like, there was something oddly extremely familiar about being on the Aurora.
Kind of like Mass Effect, yeah.
Right, like Mass Effect, Duke Nukem on certain levels. There's the Alien. Any of the Alien games back in the day were like that. Whether you played Isolation or the Marines, Colonial, whatever it was, there's just something to that. Even Dead Space. There's just so many games that have you on some giant Harrier out in space, and Christ, Halo, like we said. So no, that was oddly homey for me. Being on the Aurora was strangely like, this feels like 15 other games. I can handle this. Like, I felt very comfortable in the Aurora. But so you find the prawn suit bay all on your own, and we scan prawn suits. You have only seen the prawn suit. What is your thought on that thing?
Obviously, I know you say that there's no like fighting involved. But it's a fucking mech suit. I'm excited, dude. Like it's like I feel like I can, tread the oceans in a giant suit and not be afraid to get bit, because what's gonna happen? I'm gonna turn around and smack the giant bone shark in the face. Yeah, no, it's just an extra layer of protection, and I'm excited for it.
Awesome. I can't wait till we get there for you. It's a haul. It's worth it, though. So you go through there. We make our way upstairs and into the cafeteria and into the crewman's hallway area. And this is where you start picking up, the bed schematics or blueprints for beds. Some of the posters, the toys, the miscellaneous stuff, and let's just have a conversation about that between the two of us, because I think you were excited as I was when I first realized that some of these things were in there, the posters and like the toy ship or whatever some of the other stuff was.
Like, for me, I'm a very cosmetic type of person, so as soon as you the kitty posters that says what does it say?
Stay calm.
Yeah, it says stay calm. It's just a cat smiling. It's fucking awesome. You pick up a little toy ship of the Aurora, and it's just like, it's like little trophies that you can put at your home base. You're like, yeah, you know where I got that? The exploded Aurora. Like, no, I'm all for cosmetics, and it was nice to see that type of stuff.
And see, for me, this is where I am. If a game can allow me to immerse myself as the character, I enjoy that. So for me, those came from a standpoint of like, oh man, the person you're playing as, his name is Riley. And for me, it was like, oh, I bet that's really cool for Riley. Like, I bet this would make you feel so much more like if I were this person. I'm not a materialistic person to begin with. Like, those just aren't big things to me. I'm not overtly attached to a lot of things that way. Coming across those, though, was a normality thing. I was thinking about this from a mental standpoint of if you were isolated this way. The only thing that's talked to me in weeks now, however many days I've been on this island, on this planet, is a PDA that's trying to keep me alive but doesn't have any feelings or emotions, so it's literally just like, oh cool, I get to say something today, he didn't die. To come across something like a toy, a stuffed animal, you know, even the poster was like, oh my god, from a mental standpoint, that has to be awesome, because it gives you something to interact with that wasn't fully functional or just for the purpose of survival. Like, it gave you a moment to let yourself relax. So like, yeah, you're damn straight, I put the stay calm poster on the door on my way out of my home base.
Average long-range transmission delay, 8 hours. Opening last recorded transmissions.
This is an emergency distress call. Aurora is on collision course with planet 4546b. Sending all available environmental data. Please respond with rescue solution. Out.
This is Altera HQ. Attached to this message, you should find the blueprints for an escape ship that we calculate will be capable of breaking orbit and getting you back to the nearest phase gate. Now, it's designed to use materials you can find in situ, but it's gonna need one hell of a power source.
Integrating new PDA data long-range communication.
Listen, I know I don't have the right to make demands of you, but I need you to understand that I want to change our arrangement.
I hear what you're saying, and I will try to respect it. How would you like to change it?
I would like to reduce our contact time.
How much further can we do that?
Zero. You're dumping me. I'm changing the terms of our relationship.
How is it still a relationship if we don't see each other?
It's a relationship of a kind with so many expectations.
I feel you just want to spend more time with that dumb guy in his dumb robot suit.
That's not a feeling. It's a judgment. And I feel hostility in what you're saying. Perhaps your jealousy is a sign that you need to take another look at your business model. Why can't you just be happy for me?
I am happy for you, and I'm happy for all the guys in the prawn bay. I'm just not happy for me.
This is why I want to change our arrangement.
You know, and it's one of those, I could imagine myself, like, if I were in this situation, dude, I had conversations with that cat poster. You know what I mean? Like, this would have been something I used to keep myself so wholly sane. Because that's something I think about. You know, obviously, being in a game setting, I don't know that that's something you get to experience, because how do you simulate that? But if you can immerse yourself in the system and start asking those, in the situation, and start asking yourself those questions, so like, okay, so like, I get that I'm out doing this and doing that, but like, can you imagine, you know, kind of like the movie Castaway, Wilson, you know, like, you need something to keep your mind okay. Like, you'll survive just naturally wanting to survive, but like, given the actual situation, what you have to do, this person would really need to stay thinking at all times.
Mm-hmm.
You've got so much to do and to troubleshoot and to go through, that something like that poster or that toy, to give you just 10 minutes to forget the absolute mess around you, I bet would be amazing. So I thought they were hella cool, because as much as they were collectibles in the game, again, from the standpoint of, if you were in this situation, like, man, that ship just blew up, I woke up in my life pod, like, this had to be a banner moment for you of, I bet you cried.
Yeah.
You know, I bet this was a hell of an emotional event. The moment you got to just hug a fucking teddy bear. You know, like, I'm not alone now. It has to be so cool. I love the thought process behind it on multiple levels, if you're willing to go there.
Honestly, thank you for sharing that. Like, that's something I did not think of. It's very heartwarming, honestly.
Oh, like I said, right away, like, the moment I saw the cat poster, it was twofold. It was the like, oh, that's awesome, it's funny. And then I immediately had, if you've ever seen the show Drawn Together, for anybody that's ever watched that,
Yes.
some cringe shit that can be funny as hell.
Crude. Very crude.
There is an episode where Captain Hero sees a poster that is very the same, only it's a cat hanging from a tree limb.
Hang in there.
And it says, hang in there, baby. And he stares at it one day and, I will hang in there, baby. I will hang in there. And so this cat poster literally for me became that thought process of like, dude, if this was me, every time I went to go leave my home base to go do whatever I had to do, I'd be having this moment with that fucking cat poster of like, all right, we're doing this, we're doing that. I'm going to do that, and if everything goes well, I'll be back by this time. Keep calm, keep calm. Yeah, keep calm. Like, granted, it's never going to talk back to me, but like, the idea that like the inanimate object will be waiting for me when I come back, that's something. And like, I imagine in a survival situation like that, that's gotta be something. Like, it's gonna be there to talk to the cat poster if I'm not there. This sounds crazy, but you know. So back on topic, we pick up the blueprints for the rocket ship. For me, this is also the moment I realize how big the Aurora is in full scale. Now that I'm inside it, it was big when I was alongside it, but now that I'm inside and like I feel like I've traveled 3 or 4 miles inside of the ship, damn. That means that rocket's not small.
Right.
Again, this is one of those moments where the game got really big. And it's the moment of realizing, like, I'm so far away from an end game. I feel so far away from an end game, I should say, because unknown at this point, right? How did that land for you then?
Honestly, I realized that I was far from, like, barely scratched the surface level of this game when we hit the aliens. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, there's so much to do that I don't even know. And going onto the ship and, yeah, no, it just leaves excitement, honestly. I think I told you this last time. Like, I'm excited to continue playing this game. There's ineffable. That's the word.
Yeah, no, for me, like I said, this is, I feel like this is the end of the early game process, and everything that comes from here is kind of the meat and potatoes of what's going to come. That being said, I think my biggest takeaway from all of it is scale of said game. For not the biggest file size I've ever seen in a game, this map is something else. I've seen Call of Duties, Skyrim, whatever, talking about how big their maps are and this and that. This map feels big everywhere you go.
Right, like, if you're looking at, like, a Skyrim map, it looks, I mean, obviously you can see the map, you can see the world. It's very two-dimensional. This goes, obviously three-dimensional. Like, it goes so deep, so far, and not even including the story, which, like, is vast.
But it makes that feeling of vastness doesn't go away.
Yeah.
If anything, it continues to kind of pick up. Like I said, getting to the Aurora and realizing how large that ship was, inside as well as outside, was like, oh my god. You know, like, this thing is comparable to one of the islands. it was probably bigger than the island. But like, holy crap! Like there, and again, like you said, we haven't even gone below like 120 meters.
Nope. My system keeps telling me I'm going too deep.
And that's why we had to build the other air tank. So we thank you for joining us so far. We hope you join us on the next one as well, as we go deeper, figuratively, literally, in the game here. What's going to be next? The Sunbeam, maybe some base building. You'll have to catch the next episode to figure that out. Please like, subscribe. For Swiss and Phumpy, thank you guys for watching.
Goodbye.